Hey people of the VC, it's Andy, Cloudy Milder. It's 80's collection update time. I haven't done one of these. It's over 2 months now since I actually did an 80's video just related to 80's originals that I pick up. Yeah, as I say, what, two to 3 months nearly. I haven't stopped buying things. Like the inbox that I put the new stuff in is groaning at the seams. So I don't know. I've just not really felt in the zone to do one of these, I guess. But trying to get back into it now. So what I'm going to do is I went through what I picked up and thinking about what I was going to show. I've got too much to show in one video, so there's going to be a few. But I've picked up a few, quite a few singles, and also quite a few compilation albums as well. So I thought I would focus this video on singles and compilations. As I say, it's all 80s stuff, and they're all originals as well. So first up, an eBay purchase which was for 4 Iron Maiden singles. The starting bid was, I think it was about £16, which probably put off lots of people. But I thought if I get, and postage was included, so I thought if I get these 4 singles for £16 and no one else bids on it, then I'll not go any higher. And I think £4 a single including postage for Iron Maiden is not bad. So what did I get? So just seen there, 2 minutes to midnight. I've just also posted tonight a VCLT video from James Griffiths where I got the 12-inch version of this without a cover. This has Rainbow's Gold on the back. I've not actually played this yet. It's very unusual that I show records that I haven't played yet, so I've not actually heard Rainbow's Gold. So I'm looking forward to hearing that one. Obviously, 2 minutes to midnight from Powerslave. These aren't in any chronological order. I can't be doing with that nonsense. Can I Play With Madness? Again, 7-inch single. This is from 88. Oh, just noticed there a bit of a split seam. I think these are all on EMI. And I've already got a copy of this on shaped 7-inch picture disc, which will no doubt come out at some point in time in my Random Records series, which you guys should check out if you've not. For some reason, I seem to get less views on my Random Records series, and to be honest with you, it's the same as these. It's just 80s metal, just with a slightly different spin on it. It's all the stuff that I owned before I started doing VC videos and updates. Anyway, plug over. Infinite Dreams, 1989. So this is a single off, I think, Maiden England DVD by looks of this. Infinite Dreams Live and Killers. And last but not least, from Maiden, Number of the Beast. And this is on red vinyl. So what year is this? What, 83, 82, 83, 1982? Yeah, with Remember Tomorrow on the flip side, recorded live in Italy. Cool, very cool to have that. I bought this ages ago now, so this is the second time I've bought this single. So this is Tigers of Pound Town with Hellbound and Don't Give a Damn. I sent the first copy I bought of this as VCLT because it's supposed to come with 2 singles, and the first time I bought it, it only had 1. I managed to find another copy of it with not only the MCA records of Hellbound and Don't Give a Damn, but also the audition tapes with Don't Take Nothing and Bad Times on it as well. So I was quite pleased to pick up a complete copy of that this time around. A couple of Vardis singles next. This one comes in. This is like a 2 single set within the one box. So this is Let's Go and Situation Negative, but you can see it's got like a blue card insert inside. So it's on the logo. So that's the single Let's Go and Situation Negative, and then there's a freebie that comes with it, which is 100 mph and out of the way. Again, on logo, so it was quite a nice find. I don't collect a lot of singles, but if I see something a little bit unusual, or maybe some by Maiden or Saxon or like Vardis, I'll tend to pick them up. Next one is Too Many People by Vardis. Great early new wave of British heavy metal band, 80s band. Again, this is what's the little green insert card this time round. Doing a very bad shot. Insert card with merchandise information, and inside we have 2 singles. So we have Too Many People and Lions Share, which is the main single, and then the freebie, which is Blue Rock, I Miss You, and Dirty Money. So again, quite a nice double 7-inch single set that is complete. Actually, I'm just wondering now whether the insert on Let's Go also had merchandise information, which, yeah, it does. There we go. T-shirt for £3.50 and a badge for 30p. Great. Change for a bag of chips as well. Right, next up, the rods, Too Hot to Stop. There we go, a nice guy for clipping the bird as well. So this is what, 1982 on Arista. Too Hot to Stop and Power Love on the flip. These two I actually picked up yesterday. They were in good nick, so we've got And the Band's Played On by Saxon with Hungry Years and Heavy Metal Thunder on the flip side. I went to see Saxon a couple of weekends ago now. Got some footage. I'm going to do a video for it, but it's just finding the time to edit it all together, because I played with Fastway and Girls School as well, so it's an absolutely killer gig. Saxon killed it. And last single for today is Saxon Never Surrender. See, this time again, this one also contains a free single, but this one is on Gatefold. I think this is the first single I've got. There's actually Gatefold like an album. As you see, Never Surrender and 20,000 Foot remix are on the main 7-inch, and the free single is Bap Shuap and Street Fighting Gang. And these are on Carrera. Both the discs look the same and in great nick. But yeah, I did like the Gatefold 7-inch single cover. Very cool. So that's the singles. Right, so onto the so I've been collecting. Not really so much collecting, but picking up more sort of metal compilations, 80s metal compilations recently. More so than I realised, actually. It's only one I've actually grabbed, went through my box and started giving them a spin and playing with them, that I realised I had enough to maybe dictate most of the video towards. The first one isn't really metal. I think it's a little bit of a cheat, to be honest with you. So it fits into the 80s bracket because it is from 1980, but most of the bands aren't really, you know, this new wave of British heavy metal haven't really taken off. I think it's a bit of a jump on the bandwagon from the rec from MCA. I mean, it's got some good bands on here, but it's a lot more sort of hard rock, and there's a Tigers of Pangtang song on here, Don't Take Nothing. It's pretty good. Gary Moore, Wishbone Ash, but Axe, Gillan, Storm. I mean, I'm not a big 70s heavy rock fan. I kind of appreciate it for what it was and the influence it had on the music that I'm most passionate about. But I'm not going to play Precious Metal that much. The best track on here actually is probably Bread Fan by Budgie. Yeah, so MC. A lot of these are fairly generic in terms of the label, but a lot of these bands already had a career in the 70s. One or two new ones, as I say, like Tigers of Pangtown. But actually, yeah, Storm Machine Gun. I believe I'm trying to remember now because I played so many of these this week. So many different bands that they are female fronted. Band, yeah, that rocks quite a bit as well. So yeah, Precious Metal. Next up is two that I picked these two up in the last few days and gave them a spin straight away because of because it brought back such good memories. So when I was growing up, there was very little exposure of heavy metal on TV. We only had 4 channels, or 3 channels, I think, even early 80s in the UK, and so the Friday Rock Show, Tommy Vance, TV on the radio was my Friday night. I think it started about 10 o'clock, and I would listen to that religiously every week, even taping it and playing it on a Walkman. It's like a podcast these days. So I came across these two from a single seller on Discogs. So the first up is a Metal Explosion from the Friday Rock Show and the Friday Rock Show album. Metal Explosion is actually from 1980, and it's a great compilation. It's Samson, Praying Mantis, Trespass, Taurus, More, Money, Gillen, and an Angel Witch. Interestingly enough, though, down here, so it's all endorsed by Tommy Vance. We've got his signature nice and printed on the album here. But the album compilation of both of them is by a chap called Tony Wilson. I think that's the same Tony Wilson who was behind the whole Manchester scene, indie scene in the 80s and 90s. So it's interesting that he compiled this album, and probably not actually Tommy Vance, who just stuck his name to it. Roll on, 1981, a year later, and the bands that made this album are Spider, Diamond Head, Sweet Savage, Last Flight, Demon, Black Axe, Witchfind, and Zero with a X. A very, very cool 80s comps. From a few bands that went on to success and a few that didn't. The early 80s was, it must have been such an exciting time with the new wave of British heavy metal really kicking off. There were many bands that I think started the 1980s and just thought, they're going to be the next big thing. And a few of these albums we're going to show now are going to have their only contribution to music ever. Most of them never got picked up by a label, so they started off 1980 with such hope. I can imagine them phoning their mums and just telling them they've been picked up, they're going to be on, they're going to have their record, they're going to go out on a compilation, they're going to be selling music, they're going to get picked up, and then nothing happened. In a lot of the cases, I think many bands just sounded too much. They hadn't progressed enough on from the 70s. Bands like Iron Maiden brought something new to the table, and many of these other bands, although I look back now and there's some killer tracks there, absolutely killer tracks. But at the time, obviously, they just didn't have what it took for the record labels to think they were going to make money, which is a real shame because there are some real gems caught up in here. So next up is one from Ebony Records, which is Metal Maniacs. This is Ebony number 8, I think. But yeah, again, the band's on here. Chateau, I think, is the only band on here that actually went on and produced a number of albums after. Very good band as well. And Trojan, first band on side 2. They did release an album about 3 years later. but not on Ebony. So we've got bands called Uncle Cyrus, Mad Avenue, Chateau, Madame Guillotine, Omen, Menace, Trojan, Fallen Angel, Mirage, Angel Underground, Crywolf, Stranger, and Emerald. Considering this, the Metal Maniacs claim this is an album devoted entirely to the promotion of rock bands. They actually failed to go on and promote any of these bands any further, with the exception of Chateau. But it's a very cool compilation to have. That's on the Ebony label. So yeah, this is 1982, I think. Yeah, 1982. So again, I think some of these bands just weren't cutting it for 82 with the new sound that was happening, but great to listen to now. Next up, I've got a collection of 3 compilations, all from 1980, all from EMI. First up is Metal for Mothers. I picked this up for a great price off eBay recently. I got it for under £3, and it goes for a hell of a lot more. Most famous band on here is Iron Maiden. We've got a couple of tracks from Maiden there. We've got the opening track on the side one, which is Sanctuary, and Wrathchild a bit further down. They both sound like they're demos. They're slightly different versions of these songs that I've heard before. I think the only other band on here that really went on and did anything was the EF band, Swedish band. I think they went on. They had about 3 albums or so. The really strange one on here, given that it's talking about metal and there's a little bit of a bio here about why this album was put together, is it's a song called Blues in A by Toad the Wet Sprocket, and it is a real blues rock song. It is so out of place compared to all these other new bands that are sort of rocking the new wave of British heavy metal scene. We've got Praying Mantis on here as well, Captured City. They went on to release only one album in the 80s. I mean, lots of people I've heard quite a lot about Praying Mantis, and I was very surprised to find that they actually only had one release in the 80s. I think they went on and released some more in the 90s, but I've not really heard much of that. Tomorrow Yesterday from Samson. That's actually got Paul Sampson on vocals, and Nuts. They're the real surprise here, considering they'd already had 3 or 4 albums out by this time. So I'm not sure why they would have been included on an upcoming 80s compilation. But yeah, Metal for Mothers, followed swiftly by probably one of my favourite records I'm going to show tonight, which is Metal for Mothers Volume 2, Cut Loud. Now, I don't think any of these bands really made it. We've got Trespass, Easy Money, Zero again with an X, White Spirit, Dark Star, Horsepower, Red Alert, Chevy, The Raid, and another song by Trespass. White Spirit, probably most famous for having Yannick Gers of Iron Maiden in the in the band, and Dark Star and Chevy both went on to produce one album. Again, really great tracks. I love listening to this now, but I think there's just too many. It's not new wave of British heavy metal enough for these bands to have actually made it at the time. The sound was very much similar to a lot of the stuff, I guess, more hard rock really than the new metal scene that was happening. Trespass, I really like those. I mean, if they sound very much like Thin Lizzy. So given the success of bands like Deadlord and Black Trip now, you can almost argue that these Trespass were kind of 30 years ahead of their time. Well, they're probably a bit too close to Thin Lizzy still producing stuff. So Metal for Mothers 2, this was the same year, 1980, as Metal for Mothers. And the third one in the series, which was also 1980, was more of an EP. And this was Mother's Pride. I kind of love that cover. It's got a corner cut out. But on here we have Wildfire, Quartz, White Spirit, and Baby Jane. And obviously to show, doing a little bit of advertising for the other two records in the series. Not, I say, not an album this time. Maybe they just ran out of bands. Again, White Spirit, Yannick Gers. Quartz, I think, went on and did a few more albums, but I'm not sure about Wildfire and Baby Jane. But again, some really good tracks on it. It's great hearing the kind of the raw edge of these 80s, very early 80s bands. 20 minutes. All right. Next up is a Carrera Records. Now, unlike the others, which were kind of showcasing new bands, Carrera on here are kind of showcasing the bands that they've already released many albums from. So this is from 1982. So we've got Saxon, Demon, Rage, Dokken, and Rose Tattoo. There are quite a few different versions of this album. I think they all have Saxon, Demon, and Rage on. But depending on the country, I think there's Italian press, US, maybe German. There's two or three. There's South American one as well, maybe Argentinian. They have different. Rose Tattoo is mainly the band that's swapped out, but there's sort of two or three other bands that are there. So Rose Tattoo, depending on the pressing, I guess down to the licensing. But there are tracks from all these albums listed. There's what, 3 from Saxon, 2 from Rose Tattoo, 2 from Demon, 2 from Dokken, and 2 from Rage. But it's a nice album. It plays well. On the again standard Carrera label. Now we're going to jump forward quite a few years. This next one is some Music from Nations compilation called, it's a double album, Nightmare on Carnaby Street. This is Music from Nations 83. One thing I've realised is I've over the years now I've been collecting quite a few Music for Nations albums, and it's a label that, and I've mentioned this before in quite a few people's comments and videos, that it's a label that kind of excites me whenever I see the man with the flag. I kind of, if I've not heard of the band, I tend to buy them. And it just so happens that the first 100, MFN 1 to 100, covers their 80s catalogue. So I've kind of started tracking how many I've got, and like a complete nerd that I am, I've set up another blog post page. You guys don't know my 3 Random Records series. I've got a sheet that shows all the records that have been picked. I've done a similar thing to track the first 100 Music for Nations records, and as I buy and collect them, I'm just going to fill in that page, and so I can start to see how my collection's growing. Out of the 100, I've got 19 so far. I'll leave a link down below. Check it out if you want. It's just a bit of fun. I'm certainly not going out of my way to just buy Music for Nations stuff. There's just too much good stuff out there to focus on one area. But I wonder if I'll ever get the full 100. It's I guess there's many collectors out there. You've all got your dreams, and that would be mine. Yeah. So who's on Nightmare on Carnaby Street, I hear you ask? Well, we've got a ton of bands here. So say it's a double album. We've got Exodus, Heathen, Hellion, and Agent Seal on side 1. Wild Dogs, Zoetrope, Hellion again, and Lars Rocket on side 2. Side 3, and this is where definitely the first record is the stronger one. Side 3 starts getting a little bit weaker in my mind, and some of the bands are a bit more commercial sounding. So Q5, can't go wrong with Q5. I like Q5. Rio, Tiger Tails, Rogue Mail, again good track. And side 4, There's a lot of love for Striper out there, but I'm not a big Striper fan. But we've got Striper, Michael Furlong, Creek, and Tiger Tail. So side 4 tends to get a little bit wet around the ears, but overall it's a great compilation. I would prefer the cover to be in slightly better condition, but I've not seen this come up very often, so I grabbed it when I got the opportunity. And last and definitely least is Metal Hammer's Best of British Steel. Again, we have a double compilation live album. Not live album, compilation album, idiot. Now this was all about, this was at the time when people were saying that metal was dead. This is 1989. Metal was in free fall, and this was Metal Hammer magazine, UK magazine. It was their attempt to say, you know what, metal's not dead. There are a load of great bands out there. And you know what, there really weren't. In fact, out of all the tracks on here, I think there's. Let me go through who's on here. So we've got The Dogs d'Amour, Sabbath, Wrathchild, Lawnmower Death, Tricks Federation, and Tattooed Love Boys. All these are British bands, I believe, to try and put Britain back on the heavy metal rock map, as it says on the back. Sabbath is probably the best song on that. It's a thrash song. Side 2 has Acid Rain, Lisa Dominic, Mantis, Reanimator, Midnight Blue, and Death Trash. And I think it's I can't remember now. I think it's Reanimator is a thrash track on there as well, and that's probably the best song on that side. Side 3, Tiger Tails, Death Wish, Last of the Teenage Idols, Virus, and Torino. And side 4, Sacrilege, After Hours, Licks, Metal Messiah, and Soho Roses. There's quite a bit of glam, sleaze metal on here. There tends to be one good thrash metal track on each side, and that's what saves it. Other than that, it's a nice thing to have in the collection, but got plenty of other stuff I'd rather play than listening to a lot of these bands on here. Yeah, but as I say, there's 6 or 7 compilation albums. Picked those up in the last couple of months. I'm on the lookout for more. They're really great to see a snapshot. Certainly the early 80s ones, where they're trying to promote the bands rather than labels trying to necessarily keep themselves going at the end of the day. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing those 45s and the compilations. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're interested in seeing what I pick up when I pick up, I tend to do some stuff on Instagram. So there's a link below. Have a look at that, and you'll probably see what's going to come up in the next few videos over a period of time. So as I play something, I'll just take a quick snap of it, pop it up there, and yeah. So check that out. Thanks for watching, and I've got enough stuff to probably the next couple of videos will be 80s videos as well, or I might do another random records one just to keep that ticking over, because I know you guys have contributed to that series, and I don't want to let you down by leaving it too long between episodes. Rambling, bye.